This week here to Game On KWN, brought to you as always by Chattanooga State. Glad to have you with us this week. We got a whole lot of stuff to get into. We're going to kind of kick it off tonight, and it'll kind of be a running theme, if you will, over the next couple of weeks, except for next week. We're going to head in a completely different direction and do something totally different. But starting tonight, we'll kind of do something that we've been doing for a long time over the last several years now, where we kind of take a little tour around the SEC, and we talk some SEC spring football. So we'll get into that tonight. We'll talk about those Auburn Tigers coming up in a few minutes, and then later on before the end of the show, we'll talk LSU football. Mark Murphy from Inside the Auburn Tigers will join us at around 6:15 Eastern Time. And so we'll talk some Auburn football with him. Gus Malzahn coming into another year. A lot of disappointment last year on the Plains. Kevin Steele takes over as the defensive coordinator. What kind of changes are going on there? And do they have a quarterback? Jeremy Johnson, the guy that everybody thought last year would be the guy, still hasn't really come out and separated himself even this spring. So there's still some drama there surrounding the quarterback situation. So we'll get into that with Mark Murphy again here in about 15 minutes or so. And then later on in the hour, our buddy Jim Kleinpeter from NOLA.com, he's the LSU beat writer for the New Orleans Times-Picayune. And Jim will be with us. We'll talk a little bit about LSU, kind of a precarious situation there when it looked like Les Miles may be out of a job at one point back in November, and then all of a sudden they didn't pull the trigger. Les Miles is still there. Do they have a quarterback? Because if there's been one really black mark on LSU football over the last couple of years, it's been play of the quarterback, especially, Mettenberger gave him a good year or two, but outside of that span, everything else has been pretty blah in Baton Rouge when it comes to the quarterback position. Now, Leonard Fournette is back, and he will certainly be expected to have a really, really big 2016 season, and I don't think anybody necessarily would argue if you wanted to consider Leonard Fournette the front runner for the Heisman Trophy in 2016, at least going into the season. So Jim Kleinpeter coming up at the around the bottom of the hour with him. So we got all that going on. So there's a lot of stuff happening. A couple of quick programming notes that I want to make you aware of. Braves baseball back on KWN radio, so you can find it on News Radio 1420 and 106.1. You can also find it on 1480 The Fan as well, and wherever you see this program, you can also hear one of those three stations, 106.1 FM, 1420 AM, 1480 AM. You can find Braves baseball there. So, again, the Braves are back. Not off to a tremendous start to the season, but, again, we talked about it even going back to the end of last year. The fact that the Braves probably weren't going to be very good this year. They dropped 2 to the Washington Nationals to begin the season. No Braves game today on this Thursday as we taped this program on Thursday, but now if you're watching it live on Thursday, no Braves baseball tonight. Braves will open up a series against the St. Louis Cardinals beginning on Friday. So that's where the Braves will be actually at home in Atlanta this weekend against St. Louis. So that's an update on the Braves. And again, you could find Don and Jim and the whole Braves gang, our buddy Kevin McAlpin with the Braves Radio Network. You can find that on KWN News Radio 1420, 106.1, and also on 1480 The Fan as well. So that's one thing I got to tell you about. And then starting, let's see, again, this is Thursday. So starting tomorrow night here on KWN TV, it's high school football every Friday night through the spring and through the summer. So basically, what's going to happen is every Friday night they will bring you a replay of a high school football game from this previous season. So from the 2015 season. So if it's North Sand Mountain, if it's North Jackson, if it's Whitwell, if it's Dade County, any of those games that you saw on KWN this past football season, you'll be able to relive it all right here on KWN TV. Every Friday night, it's going to start at 7 o'clock. Is that right? Let me check my notes. 9 o'clock Eastern time. Sorry, it's not 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central time, right here on KWN TV, wherever you're seeing this this show at right now. If you come back to that channel Friday nights at 9 o'clock, you can find the, again, replaying some of the best high school football games. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea, actually. So if you got a little jonesing for high school football around this time, not a whole lot going on. Nobody's into spring practice yet. We got some college football spring practice going on, NFL draft coming up. But if you're jonesing for some football, this may be your Friday night fix. 9 o'clock Eastern time right here on KWN TV. And then Saturday nights, they'll do the same thing for basketball. So all the basketball games, and boy, there were a mess of them that were shown here on KWN over the course of the 2015-2016 season. So Saturday night, starting at 7 o'clock, they'll air a girls' game and a boys' game, and they'll do it back-to-back. It'll be a different game every week, and you can catch that. So maybe you want to relive some of those moments, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. You can relive it all again, depending on how your team came out in it. You can do that. Friday nights with football starting at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and Saturday with boys and girls basketball, a doubleheader every single week now, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time on a Saturday. So, I think it's a fantastic idea. We talked about the Braves a minute ago, the fact that they got off to kind of a rough start to the season, losing 2 close games, though. The Braves didn't get blown out. They pitched well, and for me, I think that's kind of the real concern that I have for this Braves team. I think they've got enough bats, I think, right now to at least be competitive. I just question the pitching. But again, they didn't get blasted out of the ballpark by the Nationals. Again, you can find the Braves on KWN radio at 1420, 106.1, and also at 1480 The Fan. So Lookouts in action. They open up their season tonight, actually, on this Thursday. They open it up in Biloxi. Now, first home game comes against Jacksonville, against the Jacksonville Suns on Tuesday at AT&T Field. They'll open up a 5-game series there. Rich Mazinga, the president and general manager of the Chattanooga Lookouts, will be with us next Thursday, I believe, here on the show. I was hoping we could get Rich and get it live and get it done, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to have to join us over the phone because the Lookouts will be playing at home that night. So hopefully we can get a few minutes with Rich, talk a little bit about this Lookout season. The Twins have done a good job in terms of the way they've drafted and the players that they're trying to develop, and I think you're seeing Minnesota kind of go about things the right way in terms of how they're building this organization now. And, of course, last year the Lookouts were loaded with, especially at the start of the year, with so many top prospects. And then by the end of the year, when the Lookouts were making their playoff run, what eventually led to a Southern League championship, Minnesota kind of loaded them up again. Well, a lot of those guys, I think about 10 or so of those guys that finished the 2015 season as Southern League champions with the Lookouts are all going to be back again this season with the Lookouts. So, you want to see some guys that are going to be like Miguel Sano that's now with the Twins, Byron Buxton that everybody still thinks is going to be a superstar in Major League Baseball. Those guys were both Chattanooga Lookouts this time last year, so worth a trip out to the ballpark as always. Lookouts open the season at home on Tuesday, 5 games against Jacksonville. So that's kind of a look around at what all's going on. Next week, by the way, here on Game On, we'll get back to talking some baseball. Jeff Passan from Yahoo is going to be with us. He's written a fantastic book called The Arm. And if you're a high school baseball player, a high school baseball coach, if you coach youth league sports, it's an interview that you're not going to want to miss. And it's a book that you're going to want to read because it is all about the wear and tear on the arm. And Tommy John surgery is basically kind of what the book centers around. And it's really an interesting look. It will definitely, if you're the father of a high school athlete, or for that matter, even a little league, Dixie Youth, whatever organization you're playing travel ball, playing through the summer. This is it's some interesting stuff that Jeff has put together in this book, and he'll be on with us next week to talk about it. Rich Mazingo of the Lookouts will be with us next week as well. So plenty coming up. So we'll talk some baseball next week, and then we jump right back into the college football stuff the following week. Danny Parker, our buddy from Knoxville at InsideTennessee.com, he will join us, and we'll that'll be most of your SEC spring games will be over, so we'll be talking Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia coming up later on towards the end of the month. Right now, we're ready to talk some Auburn football. Mark Murphy from Inside the Auburn Tigers, he will join us next here. You hang on. We'll come right back with him. It's Game On, and it's presented by Chattanooga State. Sit tight. Back in a minute.
Life is like a friendly game filled with choices. So, will you choose to soar above, or will you crash and burn? Sometimes we make bad choices, but one very smart choice is getting a degree from Chattanooga State, like engineering technology or one from our award-winning nursing program. Make the smart choice. Chat State.
Spring is a season of change, making way for the greatest time of the year.
Pitch number 89 for Burnett. He is launched to left field and deep. Retreating Snyder at the wall. Gone to the opposite field. Freddie Freeman.
And as new superstars emerge and new faces take the field, this is the home of Atlanta Braves baseball.
0-2 pitch. Change up, swing and a miss, strike three.
The Atlanta Braves play here, 1420 AM, 106.1 FM, KWN News Radio. Among the many things that stand out about Southern Wholesale Carpet is selection, quality, and value. Southern Wholesale Carpet has all of your flooring needs covered, from Armstrong Tarcat Vinyl to Shaw Carpet and hardwood in a number of styles and colors, including the Somerset Collection and a Smoky Mountain hardwood made right here locally in South Pittsburgh by Shaw. With over 25 years of flooring experience, Highway 136 West at the foot of Sand Mountain, open Monday through Friday till 5 till 6 on Thursday and Saturday 9 to 1. 657-4420. Southern Wholesale Carpet.
Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank Marion Countyans will ever need. At 402 North Cedar Avenue in South Pittsburgh, 4765 Main Street in Jasper, and at 14087 Highway 28 in Whitwell. Providing the highest standard of customer services with a personal touch. Our associates can help you with personal loans, personal lines of credit, a variety of mortgage loans, and more. And we offer real-time internet banking too. See us in South Pittsburgh, Jasper, and Whitwell today. Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank Marion Countyans will ever need. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Come enjoy pizza for lunch or dinner in a family atmosphere at Stevie B's Pizza, 2200 Galt Avenue North in Fort Payne. Enjoy the super buffet and salad bar anytime, or have any of our specialty pizzas made to order and delivered right to your table. At Stevie B's in Fort Payne, we make our own dough, assuring you the best possible pizza. Book your parties at Stevie B's in Fort Payne, plus ask about catering and fundraisers too. Call Stevie B's 256-979-1234 and find out more. Great pizza in a family atmosphere. Stevie B's, 2200 Galt Avenue North in Fort Payne. Everyone at Guthrie's in Trenton says thank you for 5 fabulous years. It's the 5th year anniversary celebration going on right now at Guthrie's. And right now you can log on at discoverdate.com, click on the Mountain Valley Independent. You'll find a coupon that you can present for $5 off the finger or wing bucket or the 40 or 60 count finger platter. And while you're at Guthrie's, check out super lunch specials going on right now during our 5th anniversary celebration. Thank you for 5 fabulous years at Guthrie's, Highway 136 West, next to the Dollar Tree in Trenton.
Find out what's going on all over Sand Mountain. It's Sand Mountain Community Watch, Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on KWN TV.
Game On here on KWN. Glad to have you with us, and certainly glad to welcome in from inside the Auburn Tigers, which is part of the Scout.com family of sites, autigers.com. Mark Murphy joins us. Mark, let's start first with the coaching situation at Auburn and Gus Malzahn. Look, there's pressure to win in the SEC. I don't care where you are. Is it fair to say or safe to say that Malzahn is on the hot seat going into the 2016 season?
I don't think he's on the hot seat, but I'd say it's warm. Auburn expects to win big every year, and 7-6 is not winning big. And, there's certainly expectations they need to be better this year. And he did a lot of changes to his coaching staff, and it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. The defensive staff's really different. Offensive staff, only really change there is new offensive line coach Herb Hand, a guy he worked with for 2 seasons out of Tulsa, and they were co-offensive coordinators 2007, 2008. He's been trying to hire Herb Hand for years, and he was finally able to get him in from Penn State, where he coached the last couple of years.
Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball first. What kind of an impact has Kevin Steele been able to make defensively on Auburn?
What they're doing is not a whole lot different schematically than what they did under Will Muschamp for one season he was at Auburn. And, it's a very different style. He's a lot calmer, more relaxed type personality. But, as far as football goes, there's some similarities. Both those guys are real old school coaches in the fact that they believe in the importance of fundamentals and, as much physical contact as possible. It's interesting. Kevin Steele, after practice Tuesday night, was sort of, he said he wasn't complaining, but he was complaining about the modern college football rules. They only have 15 spring practices, and most of those spring practices, they're not allowed to go out and tackle and have full contact. And he said, that's why the few practices where they do actually scrimmage and have full contact to actually tackle the ground, he said those things are really important because the players need to learn how to perform in those situations. And he said that's really the only way they can truly evaluate how guys are going to do in games. So, he was pretty upbeat about the way things are going so far. I think he, is demanding a lot of effort out of guys. That's been the general overall theme, maximum effort. And he said basically, he used the word joy to describe, what he's seen through 12 practices. Practice 13 is going on right now, and they practice one more time next week after the spring game on Saturday, and then they are done until August.
Mark Murphy from autigers.com. That spring game coming up Saturday, 4 o'clock. You can watch it on the SEC network, and, of course, you can go to autigers.com and read all about it, both leading up to and after the Auburn spring game, as Mark spends a few minutes with us. There's some talent coming back on that defensive side of the ball. Kevin Steele inherits a guy like Carl Lawson, like Montravius Adams, like Dontavius Russell. Who's the guy in your mind, Mark, that you stands the chance to really have a breakout year under Kevin Steele?
The first guy you mentioned, Carl Lawson, he can stay healthy. He's a guy that's got a chance to be one of the best players in the SEC. It's an interesting note about Carl and his injuries. This is going to be, he's a redshirt junior. He has never played in a spring game because of one injury or another. And, even though he played last year, he was not real full speed after getting hurt in the first half against Louisville, and really impacted the defense because he was by far their best pass rusher. So, just looking at him on the hoof out of practice, this is a really different-looking team physically on the defensive line because Rodney Garner, who's the position coach there, has got a lot of guys to work with, and they should be pretty deep with good players in all front four positions. And it's been a while since that happened. One of the really interesting things that's going on in spring practice, they've got a good group of early graduates from high school out there practicing. They've been on campus since January. One of those guys, named Marlon Davidson. He's from Greenville High School down in South Central Alabama. He's Under Armour All-American. His older brother played at Auburn. And he's off to a really unusually good start in spring practice. In fact, he's running with the first team right now at defensive end. And considering all the experienced players they've got back, that's a bit of a surprise. So he's going to be somebody to watch on the game on Saturday. He wears number 3. He's about 6'3", 6'4", 280. He can play defensive end. He can play defensive tackle. I think you'll see him inside at tackle in pass rushing situations and outside at end in normal situations. And, Montravius Adams, who you mentioned, is a guy they were fortunate to get to come back as a senior. He took a look at going out in the NFL draft. I think he needed another year of college football. He comes from a little tiny school over in central Georgia. His first year, it was all about adjusting to the SEC. Got better as a sophomore, better as a junior, but he wasn't ready for the NFL. But he's got a chance to play a long time in the pros. He keeps on developing.
Auburn gets Clemson, they get Texas A&M, they get LSU all in the first month of the season. Knowing what's ahead for this group, I mean, they open the season against Clemson. Do you get a sense that maybe there's a little more focus, maybe a little more urgency going through spring practice, knowing what's coming Labor Day weekend, or is it still too early for that?
Well, they really haven't talked about Clemson any, but you are right. There's certainly more urgency this spring, and I think the big part of it is, a lot of those guys on that team were embarrassed by last season. 7-6 was not what they were expecting. They were the preseason pick to win the SEC, and they didn't even come close to doing that. And but they certainly were not happy with the way they played on defense or offense. Special teams was pretty good, but other than that, I mean, they were very inconsistent, and they've just got to get better. And right now, the defense to me is ahead of the offense going into the spring game. It's going to be interesting to see how they set the rules up and maybe make it more entertaining for fans so there'll be some points scored. But there hasn't been a lot of scoring when they've gone 11-on-11 full speed this spring.
Mark Murphy, you can read his handiwork, autigers.com, part of the scout.com family, and he's spending some time with us here as we talk a little Auburn football. Auburn spring game coming up Saturday, 4 o'clock on the SEC network. Mark, you talk about these guys being a little disappointed at how last year went. What are the expectations for Auburn? And I know they're always through the roof in terms of what's expected from the fan base, but what are realistic expectations for this Auburn football team?
There's no reason they can't be a lot better than they were last year. There's a lot of talent. A lot of NFL scouts come out and watch them practice and take notes, and they're paying attention to what's going on. And to me, the big X factor is how the quarterback is going to perform. And you've been doing this a while. You understand how important that is in the SEC because if the quarterback plays stinking it up, it doesn't really matter that much how good you are in other phases of the game. You're going to struggle to beat any really good team you play. And they're going to open the season against Deshaun Watson, who might be the best quarterback in the country this coming season. So Auburn better have somebody calling signals on this side of the line of scrimmage that's going to have a chance to score some points and hang with Clemson in this game. And I don't know who it's going to be. I think it's still wide open. Jeremy Johnson, the guy they thought was going to step up and be a star last year, he just absolutely had a major disappointing year as a junior, and there was no indication that was coming because he practiced well. He played very well in his 2 starts previously, one as a true freshman, one as a sophomore. In fact, some people were talking about, they thought there would be a big improvement from Nick Marshall, who was a very good starting quarterback for 2 years. That just didn't happen. Then Sean White came in and replaced him and did pretty well. Then he got hurt in the Arkansas game, took a blow on the knee, and got hurt his foot in practice, and they really struggled after that. And, right now, if those 2 guys could be the starting quarterback, could be a newcomer, John Franklin, who is a transfer in from East Mississippi Community College. And interestingly, he's a guy that actually imitated Nick Marshall for Florida State when he was a backup there to Jameis Winston prior to the 2013 National Championship game. And the Florida State folks, I talked to, gave him a lot of credit for getting them ready to play Auburn that day.
No clear-cut front runner in your eyes in terms of who wins that quarterback battle?
I think it's still to be determined. I think it'll probably go on until August. If I had to guess one guy as of today, I would say Shaun White, because I think he's the most accurate passer. But, they really want a quarterback who can run that zone read play. And Shaun White is just average to below average as a runner. Jeremy Johnson is a little bit better as a runner. And John Franklin is really good as a runner. He's a guy that was a high school sprinter. He was at Florida State. He was on the 4x100 ACC champion relay team. And he's a legitimate guy. Runs 10.6, 10.7, and he's elusive too. But he's got to be careful with the football. His first scrimmage, he had too many miscues. He had an interception, was run back for a touchdown. He's not a big guy either, so you wonder how he's going to hold up in the SEC. John Franklin's probably 6'1", 185 pounds, and that's after gaining 10 pounds since he got to Auburn in January. So that is a big question about him. Tyler Queen, a very good quarterback in his own right. He's a redshirt freshman. Got hurt Saturday in the scrimmage, and he's a guy that was limited anyway. The first part of practice because he was coming off a Tommy John surgery. So right now it's a three-quarterback battle. They've got a kid named Woody Barrett coming in, high school Under Armour All-American. He's a really big, physical type of quarterback. Sort of reminds me of a young Dak Prescott from over at Mississippi State. But I don't see them playing a true freshman, particularly with that schedule you mentioned in September. I think that would be kind of crazy, to say the least. So right now it's a three-quarterback battle, and I think maybe the spring game will have some bearing on who's the guy. I think John Franklin's got the most to gain Saturday if he goes out there and really plays well.
Mark Murphy inside the Auburn Tigers. Again, it's part of the Scout.com family of sites, autigers.com. Mark, I have been hearing about Jovan Robinson ever since he was in high school, about what a great running back this kid was, how bright the future was. I know there's been some speed bumps along the way for him. Is this the year that we learn about Jovan Robinson in the SEC?
Had a good finish to the season. Played very well in the ball game. Was the most valuable player. Showed the ability to cut back, run. And it's interesting, Javon, I was talking to him the other day, and I said, my goodness, you look quicker, you look trimmer. He said, yeah, I've dropped about 10 pounds since last year. So I think that's going to help him. He had a great junior college freshman season, was player of the year nationally, then got hurt his sophomore season, and he had just okay stats, and he didn't have as good a team around him either. Came in expecting to be the man last year as a junior, but he just did not play well enough early in preseason and wasn't as good as he needed to be pass blocking. Plus, he also had an ankle problem, too. So he spent most of the first half of the season watching from the sidelines. Got to play more as the season went along. Then when Peyton Barber, the starter, was hurt, he got to play late in the season and did a good job. He's got a good competition going on this spring with Rock Thomas, a kid from in-state, from Oxford High School, will be a junior this year, who opened the season as a starter last year, got hurt very early in the year, and ended up losing his job to Peyton Barber, who's gone now. Peyton declared for the NFL draft. So good battle for the running back position this spring, too.
Mark, before we let you go, let me ask you about the freshman class that Gus Malzahn brought in. How many of these guys do you anticipate seeing time on the field this year?
I got 4 wide receivers in this class that are all real highly regarded. I could see any of those 4 guys playing. I mentioned Marlon Davidson as having a chance to play right away. I think that's a given. He's going to play. There's a kid named Trey Threat from down at Spanish Fort state championship team down there. And he was hurt a lot of the senior season. Then he got back to the playoffs and had like 44 tackles in 4 games. The linebacker depth isn't what it needs to be. They have to replace 4 linebackers, including 3 guys with a lot of starting experience. There's a possibility that he could get into the mix. And, defensively, maybe a couple of the young guys in the secondary could play right away. So we'll see about that. They got a linebacker transferring in named T.J. Neal from the University of Illinois. He's a multi-year starter there. I think he's a newcomer who'll play right away. So, and then a kid named Marshall Taylor just committed to him this past weekend from Miami of Ohio. He'll come in as a graduate student transfer. He's a big kid from Cordele, Georgia, about 6'2", 200-pound cornerback, and he's got a chance. I don't know if he'll start, but he's got a chance to come in and play right away. They got one of their defensive backs, Jeremiah Denson, who had a really bad knee injury against Texas A&M. I don't think he's going to be able to play at all this year. So I think he was brought in to give a little more depth at cornerback. So to answer your question, I would guess there will be probably 8, 10 true freshmen playing.
Mark Murphy, inside the Auburn Tigers. Again, autigers.com. Check it out. Auburn spring game coming up Saturday at 4. You can watch it on the SEC Network. Mark, tell folks what kind of stuff they're going to be able to find leading up to, day of, and then after the spring game at autigers.com.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories up there now about football, got basketball, baseball, softball, whatever you're interested in concerning Auburn. And, people are interested in our magazine. It's monthly, Inside the Auburn Tigers, and they can call our office at 1-800-234-1716. It includes a football newsletter. It comes out about 20 times a year. The next newsletter will be sending out sometime around midnight on Sunday after the spring game. And, I always enjoy the spring games. There's usually a lot going on. And but, if you're going to watch Auburn Saturday, even if you're just a casual fan, just be sure you watch the first half. The second half, you're probably not going to do a whole lot. It's probably going to be way down the line guys playing.
Mark Murphy. Mark, appreciate the time, man. As always, we'll catch up with you again, I'm sure, sometime over the summer. Until then, enjoy the spring game on Saturday, and thanks for some great info.
Always good to talk to you, Chris.
Thanks, man. You too. Mark Murphy, inside the Auburn Tigers. Again, it's part of the Scout.com network. Check it out, autigers.com if you're an Auburn fan. Spring game for Auburn set for Saturday, 4 o'clock. They'll kick it off. You can watch it on the SEC network. We'll come back. Jim Kleinpeter from NOLA.com. He'll join us, and we'll talk a little bit about those LSU Bengal Tigers, and we'll do that next. Hang on. Back in a minute.
Among the many things that stand out about Southern Wholesale Carpet is selection, quality, and value. Southern Wholesale Carpet has all of your flooring needs covered, from Armstrong Tarcat Vinyl to Shaw Carpet and hardwood in a number of styles and colors, including the Somerset Collection and a Smoky Mountain hardwood made right here locally in South Pittsburgh by Shaw. With over 25 years of flooring experience, Highway 136 West at the foot of Sand Mountain, open Monday through Friday till 5 till 6 on Thursday and Saturday 9 to 1. 657-4420. Southern Wholesale Carpet.
Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank Marion Countyans will ever need. At 402 North Cedar Avenue in South Pittsburgh, 4765 Main Street in Jasper, and at 14087 Highway 28 in Whitwell. Providing the highest standard of customer services with a personal touch. Our associates can help you with personal loans, personal lines of credit, a variety of mortgage loans, and more. And we offer real-time internet banking too. See us in South Pittsburgh, Jasper, and Whitwell today. Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank Marion Countyans will ever need. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Randy's Country Kitchen, open at the foot of Sand Mountain on Highway 136 West in Trenton. Beginning Monday, March 14th, Randy's features extended hours. Open Monday through Thursday, 11 to 9, and Friday and Saturday until 10 p.m. Don't miss the regular buffet every day and the famous seafood buffet on Friday, 4 p.m. to close. Pizza, stromboli, and roasted chicken still available at Randy's Country Kitchen. And you can have it delivered too by calling 657-5330. Randy's Country Kitchen, Highway 136 West at the foot of Sand Mountain in Trenton. Hey everybody, bacon is back at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
That's right, it's Little Caesars Bacon Wrapped Crust Deep Dish Pizza. Our 8-corner pizza topped with pepperoni and bacon and wrapped in more than 3.5 feet of bacon. Get a large today for just $12. Little Caesars Bacon Wrapped Crust Deep Dish Pizza is available all day. And it's available hot and ready from 4 until 8 every day. Little Caesars, Highway 136 West in Trenton and 411 Kimball Crossing in Kimball.
Romans Mobile Homes can help make the dream of home ownership come true. Come by and see our on-the-line selection of manufactured homes, or sit down with us and let us custom design your top-of-the-line constructed manufactured home. With names like Cabco and Clayton, we can design anything from 1 to 6 bedrooms, shingle or metal roof, finished drywall, and more. All our homes come with central heat and air, including a heat pump. Financing available, and prices include delivery and setup. See us today at Romans Mobile Homes, 2019 Highway 136 West, just west of the four-way stop, top of Sand Mountain. 706-657-8807. Romans Mobile Homes. T's Diner, serving up homemade Southern cooking at 3525 Main Street in Jasper. It's where you'll find all your friends every day. Breakfast 5:30 till 11. At lunch, you'll find your favorite meats and vegetables served piping hot. T's Diner has something for everyone. Come on in for dinner. Pick from our complete menu, including seafood platters, catfish, hamburger, and country fried steak plates, along with fresh vegetables. Oh, by the way, don't forget the homemade pies and cakes. T's Diner, just west of the Dollar General Store, Jasper. Open Monday through Wednesday till 2. Thursday through Saturday till 7.
Back on Game On here on KWN, brought to you as always by Chattanooga State. Chris Goforth with you as always as well. The LSU spring game set for a week from Saturday. That'll be the 16th of April, 4 o'clock. You can watch that as well on the SEC Network, as we'll get you kind of caught up on what's been happening in Baton Rouge around this football program as we welcome in Jim Kleinpeter from NOLA.com. Jim joins us from time to time to talk about LSU football. And Jim, let's start first with the coaching situation. What's the relationship like right now between Les Miles and that of the administration at LSU?
Oh, everything is rainbows and unicorns right now. I think Les immediately gained leverage when the coup attempt failed. I guess you could say it like that. Now, Les tends to rebound well from just about every near disaster he faces, and he really did it. He made some great hires. First, Dave Aranda was just unbelievable. I think that's what turned everybody around, because they gave him a 3-year guaranteed contract, and that told you right there that Les, had regained his foothold. They added Damian Craig and Jabbar Jalouf. After losing Frank Wilson, that was a pretty good comeback. And then Cam Cameron got his contract extended by 3 years now. The Les Miles clause is still in it. So if Les is still, he's not. I wouldn't say he's on super solid, firm footing, but he's got a good team coming back, and so I think they're going to leave him alone at least next year.
Hey, if I would have asked you back in November, I guess it was, when all this stuff was swirling, and his future seemed to be so much in doubt, if I would have said then, hey, do you think Les Miles is the coach come the spring game? What would you have said? Would you have been able to put odds on it back then?
Well, we were all convinced he was gone, and really, if he was, after the Arkansas game, between the Arkansas game and the A&M game, it was pretty much, they were rumors, but there wasn't anybody official saying anything. And Joe Oliva didn't say anything. So, I guess you couldn't be 100% sure, but we were pretty close to 100% sure he was not going to be back. And I think it became a perception thing with the amount of money they would have had to fork over to part ways with him. And I don't know if you follow what's going on in our legislature here, but there's a big budget hole, and LSU usually is the one that has to suffer for it. And the perception of giving Les Miles that much money to leave, not to coach anymore, was too much for the president and actually for the incoming governor, because they all weighed in on it.
Jim Kleinpeter, NOLA.com. He's the LSU beat writer as we talk LSU football here on Game On KWN. Let's get to some on the field stuff. Enough with all the coaching drama. The one spot for me, Jim, is I've watched LSU over the last couple of years. The one thing that's been missing has been an elite level quarterback. Certainly, I think that was very obvious in watching LSU last year. Is there a quarterback or an elite level quarterback on this roster?
Yeah, well, we'll find out in the fall, because right now it's Brandon Harris who has not. I think not everybody can beat Deshaun Watson. He's the same age as Deshaun Watson, the Clemson quarterback, but he's no Deshaun Watson. He grew a good bit last year. Brandon got better physically. He handled the team better. He showed he could at least handle the team. He get it up and down, in and out of plays, up and down the field. But his game was lacking. It was just a little raw. He didn't have a good touch pass. He didn't have a good short passing game, and I think he's going to be a lot better at it. They're emphasizing it big time. The other thing that he has that could turn him into a much better quarterback is he has Danny Etling right behind him, pushing him. I don't think LSU had a second option last year. I think as long as Brandon Harris is healthy enough to get out on the field, he was going to be the quarterback. But if he happens to hit the doldrums at some point this year, I don't think LSU coaches are going to be shy about putting Danny Etling in there. So I think Brandon knows that, and that will help make him a better quarterback. That being said, there's some real competition there. And this is the healthiest their quarterback position has been, I think, since 2006 when Matt Flynn, Jamarcus Russell, and Ryan Perrilloux were on the roster. They've got at least they can look ahead and say, we've got three quarterbacks that we love.
Jim Kleinpeter from NOLA.com. What's the health of this football team right now as we sit here just over a week away from the spring game?
Well, health-wise, it's not that good. They had some off-season surgeries. I don't think you'd classify them as unexpected injuries. It was some players that were hurt from last year, like Ethan Posick and Kevin Tolliver. Ethan Posick's the starting center. Kevin Tolliver's a starting cornerback. Both of those guys are out. Traven Doral tore a hamstring in an Ole Miss game, and he's skipping spring. Now they just lost Kendall Beckwith, but he came back. He's back in practice. He's practiced this week for the first time in about 3 or 4 weeks. And Dante Jackson's out ineligible. Tre'Davious White missed today. So they've got quite a few guys that are kind of in and out. They are missing quite a few bodies. But it's more of a case of guys having surgery to get them ready for the fall.
How many touches do you anticipate Leonard Fournette getting in that spring game?
Oh, I would say if he got 5, I'd be surprised. He's they may throw a couple of passes to him. They'll run the ball a few times, but they've been going real light on Leonard. He did miss one practice with just a minor knee injury. He only missed that one practice. He's been back out there. He looks 100%. They put the no contact jerseys on him, and he's never worn the no contact jerseys. So they're taking care of their workhorse, and he's gonna have an easy day that day.
Jim, there's been some really great players in recent memory at LSU. Some guys that really captivated the attention of not just the fan base, but in a lot of ways the entire nation. I mean, the Honey Badger comes to mind immediately as a guy that I think everybody was in tune with when he was at LSU. Where does Leonard Fournette fit into that? I don't know that he's not necessarily maybe as flashy as the Honey Badger. Doesn't have the cool nickname as Tyrann Mathieu did, but where does he sit in that hierarchy of great LSU players in recent years?
He might be the best, come out being the best one, the best known, the most accomplished. Leonard has everything. He's tough. He's got an edge to him too. But he's restrained. And by that I mean he came in as a freshman, looking like a senior and leading like a senior. When he speaks with authority, but he never speaks out of place or out of turn. He never walked over, pushed a senior out of the way to say something. He knows his place, and now his place is as a leader. And the rest of the players respect him. Now, he doesn't, like, the thing Tyrann Mathieu had was charisma, and he had a natural energy and a natural instinct. Leonard is a little bit different. He's a little more of an introvert, but he is out there, clapping shoulder pads and getting his guys fired up. But he just does it in a different way. And he's totally dedicated to his teammates. He's a very good teammate. And Tyrann was a good teammate. That was the thing they said about him. Everybody liked him. He never did anything. He never tried to get away with anything like skipping practice or missing a meeting or things like that. And Leonard's the same way. He's dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. I think he has a vision of what he wants, and that's something Tyrann Mathieu didn't coalesce for him until it was too late and he got kicked off the team. But Leonard knows where he's going, and he knows how to get there.
Kendall Beckwith has missed some time this spring due to injury, the middle linebacker at LSU. How is his health right now? And overall, what's your feeling about where this defense is with LSU?
Good question, because they're learning, and it's going to have some more moving parts, some different types of moving parts. They're converting some of their ends into linebackers, and it's not fully into linebackers. They're converting them into players who will stand up or play with their hand on the ground at times. So they're going to have different responsibilities. They're learning different ways to do things. Kendall Beckwith twisted his knee in the third practice, and then he missed, six practices after that. He came back on Tuesday, and he was back out there today. And I assume he's okay, because when he returned to practice on Tuesday, he was not wearing the no contact jersey. He was ready for full contact. But he's like a version of Leonard Fournette on the defense. They're not going to take any chances with getting him hurt, because he is the linchpin on the defense. He's a guy that can probably least afford to lose. And I think he's going to have a great year if he stays healthy.
Jim Kleinpeter from NOLA.com. He's the LSU beat writer, and he's spending some time with us as we talk some LSU spring football. The LSU spring game is set for the 16th of April. That's a week from Saturday, 4 o'clock. You can watch it on the SEC Network. Jim, before I let you go, look, I know that football is your thing, but how secure is Johnny Jones at LSU, or are you surprised that he's going to be back next year?
Well, on the budget talk I was telling you about, the state budget, I don't think LSU wants to fire anybody and pay them not to coach. And it doesn't matter how much money they're making, whether it's Les Miles' money or Johnny Jones' money. And I think they had just given Johnny an extension last year, so it didn't surprise me that much that they kept him.
What's the feeling among the fan base about him? Any idea? Again, I know that's not necessarily your beat, but any idea in terms of how he's viewed, the way took a lot of criticism over the way he handled Ben Simmons?
Well, there was a lot of disappointment. And some fans, I've seen it on the message boards, calling the program a dumpster fire. Well, it's not a dumpster fire. They had some high expectations because they had the best player in the country on their team, and they had lots of veteran players to put around him. And I think LSU fans were expecting, they weren't just expecting to make the tournament, they were expecting a deep run, maybe a Sweet 16, and it just never materialized. And I think they hold Johnny responsible for that. And in a lot of ways, he is responsible. He did not bring that team together. It didn't play defense. I don't know how they're going to be better next year. But I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of them blame Johnny for what happened this year.
Jim Kleinpeter, NOLA.com. Jim, thanks for the time, man. As always, great stuff. Enjoy the rest of spring practice, and I'm sure we'll catch up at some point in time over the summer.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Call anytime.
Thanks, man. Jim Kleinpeter, NOLA.com. Fantastic stuff from him. Again, you can find his work. If you're an LSU fan, check it out online. NOLA, NOLA.com. Appreciate Jim for giving us some time. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. Some interesting news out of the women's college basketball world. Doesn't have anything to do with Gino and UConn, by the way. It's about Tyler Summit. Pat Summit's son resigns today over a relationship And Tyler Summit announced his resignation today rather abruptly from the Louisiana Tech program, where he had been the head basketball coach, became the head coach 2 years ago when he was 23, 24. Now he's 25, and he's resigning after an inappropriate relationship. So we'll get you that story here as we come back. We'll get ready to wrap it up on Game On, brought to you as always by Chattanooga State here on KWN. Sit tight, hang on, back in a minute.
Life is filled with choices. Will you choose to earn your merit badge? Or will you go up in flames? Sometimes we make bad choices. But one very smart choice is getting a degree from Chattanooga State, like one in engineering technology or one from our award-winning nursing program. Chat State is affordable and has the best job placement record in the region. Don't go up and smoke. Make the smart choice and choose Chat State.
The Moore family name has built a legacy of trust, compassion, and peace of mind by standing with families during time of loss. Now in our 70th year, the Moore family commitment grows even stronger, from affordable, traditional services to cremation. Our experienced staff stands ready to follow through on you and your family's wishes. Since 1945, the Moore family of funeral homes, North Sand Mountain and Trenton, always dedicated to those we serve. The color of spring is here at Glass Farm Nursery, Highway 11, 4 miles south of Trenton. Come down and see us. While supplies last, we have 7-gallon weeping cherry trees for $59. Also at Glass Farm Nursery, get 3-gallon Kimberly Queen sun ferns for just $12.99 each. A full line of tropicals available now, too. Glass Farm Nursery, open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 on Saturday. Since 1971, Glass Farm Nursery. Shop and compare, then come see us at Glass Farm Nursery, Highway 11, 4 miles south of Trenton. When you need a licensed plumber, call Stacy Ledwell and the staff at Mr. Rooter in Scottsboro. Mr. Rooter provides your home or business with advanced solutions using high-tech equipment. Our commitment to customer satisfaction shines through in our personalized service. When you schedule an appointment, our professionals will dedicate time to explain the work that has to be done. Our staff will give you upfront pricing, so you'll know exactly what's involved before any work begins. We even pump septic tanks and do new construction on houses. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, Mr. Rooter in Scottsboro. Call Stacy Ledwell today to set up an appointment at 256-574-4710. Doing your taxes yourself is just not a good idea, especially with changes in the Affordable Care Act and college tax implications. Nancy Anderton at NL Tax and Bookkeeping has been serving the Tri-State area since 1978. Ask about direct deposit and fast returns. NL Tax and Bookkeeping is open 8:30 to 6 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, and 8:30 to 2 Eastern on Saturday. 500 Alabama Highway 73, 7 miles from downtown Trenton. Call today at 657-4758 or 597-2829. Friend us on Facebook at NL Tax for the latest tax information. NL Tax and Bookkeeping will be open Sunday, April 17th from 1 until 5. Looking for that next new-to-you vehicle? Well, Rayburn Cloud at Cloud Auto Sales has just what you're looking for, including a 99 Ford F-250 Super Duty with new tires, Big V10 for only $4,700. How about an 06 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer model with the V8 loaded at $4,995? Or an 09 Nissan Altima Super Gas Mileage with that 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine, only $5,995. See Rayburn Cloud today at Cloud Auto Sales, Alabama Highway 71 in Higdon. 597-3273 for Cloud Auto Sales, and like us on Facebook.
At Gross Furniture in Trenton, Georgia, you get the savings, the selection, and the satisfaction of getting the furniture you deserve at the prices you want. Come in, relax, and take your time. Our staff can assist you with the entire process, from expert advice to professional delivery. That's because Gross Furniture is local and treats you with honesty. Just north of the Courthouse Square on Highway 11 in Trenton. Gross Furniture, the home furnishing store that offers you more.
Delivering top-quality healthcare locally, we are Northeast Alabama Health Services. With 7 locations, there's one near you. Scottsboro, Section, North Sand Mountain in Higdon, Skyline, Woodville, Fife, and Fort Payne. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, and of course your private insurance. If you're unemployed, low income, or have a high copay or deductible, you may also qualify for a reduced rate office visit as low as $16. Ask about our free medication program. And ladies, you may qualify for a free or reduced rate mammogram. And cervical cancer screenings are available too. Putting your health concerns first. We're Northeast Alabama Health Services. HVAC repair and service you can count on from S&S Service Company, a locally owned and operated business that uses high-quality materials on every job. Call on our crews for regular maintenance, minor repairs, and new installations. Spurgeon is a name that's been trusted for decades, so if you need an energy-efficient HVAC system, we've got you covered with Arco Air products. Arco Air and S&S Service Company. Enduring performance. S&S is fully licensed and serves the Northeast Alabama and surrounding area. Call 256-632-2500 today for S&S Service Company for your HVAC needs. Online at snsservicecompany.com. Dobbins Supermarket, serving the community for over 70 years with fresh-cut meats, fruits and vegetables, and a full line of grocery items. Dobbins is known far and wide for their signature sausage in 4 flavors. Dobbins Supermarket, Highway 71 in Higdon.
This week at Dobbins, find pork shoulder roast $1.39 a pound. Fresh chicken tenders $2.49 a pound. Aberdeen bacon 12-ounce pack, 2 for only $3. Fryer leg quarters 49 cents a pound. A 10-pound bag only $4.90 at Dobbins.
Morningstar Dry Cleaners, your local dry cleaners, located at 57 Crabtree Street, right behind Door Crisp Realty in Trenton. Morningstar Dry Cleaners offers a drop-off location for after hours and pickup service for businesses. We wash, dry, fold, iron, press, dry clean, and yes, we do alterations too. Now under new ownership, Morningstar Dry Cleaners. Open until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday for your convenience. Call them today, 657-3685. Morningstar Dry Cleaners on Crabtree Street, right behind Door Crisp Realty in Trenton.
A small bank with big service. Citizens Bank and Trust, offering a wide range of services, including online banking. Pay your bills, manage your account anytime, 24 hours a day. Your account balance is only a phone call away as well at 657-1234. Or visit our convenient locations. Lookout Mountain, Georgia, Higdon, Alabama, on our main branch on Highway 11 in Trenton. Citizens Bank and Trust, 657-5678. A community bank that believes in the community. Citizens Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, a couple things here real quickly as we go to finish up. Don't forget it. It starts tomorrow night. It's Thursday. We're doing this show live, so if you're seeing one of the replays, you may or may not have missed this. But starting this week, every Friday night here on KWN, you'll be able to catch a high school football replay from this past football season. It'll be a different game, different team every single week, kind of a best of, if you will, to kind of get you through the summer doldrums here on KWN when there's no real sports going on. So you can find that. Again, 9 o'clock Eastern time every Friday night. And then on Saturday night, it's boys and girls basketball again from the 15-16 season. So you get a chance to go back if you missed some of those games. Maybe you were at those games and didn't get to see them. Well, now you get a chance to go back and watch them again. That starts this Saturday, the 9th, I guess, at 7 o'clock. So make sure that you check those out here. And don't forget, by the way, you've still got Braves baseball over on the radio side of the KWN family at 106.1, 1420 and 1480. You can find all of that. Tyler Summit, the son of former Tennessee Lady Vols coach Pat Summit, has resigned after, quote, engaging in a relationship that has negatively affected the people I love, respect, and care about the most. The 25-year-old Summit just finished his second season at the school, and he has resigned. The school has accepted his resignation, and so a little bit of a shocking news. You just don't expect something like that to come out. Of course, the Masters is going on as well. We haven't talked about the Masters at all, but again, this show's going to run all weekend, so depending on when you're seeing it, you may know who won the Masters by now. So there you have it. Thanks to our guest today, Mark Murphy, talking some Auburn football with us. Thanks to Jim Kleinpeter from NOLA.com for spending a few minutes with us to talk some LSU football as well. Talking baseball next week, Rich Mazinga, the president and general manager of the Chattanooga Lookouts, is with us. Jeff Passan from Yahoo Sports will be with us. He'll talk about his new book called The Arm. It's all about youth baseball, a lot about youth baseball, summer league baseball, and what kids are doing to their arms playing baseball year-round. We'll get to that coming up next week as well. Until then, have a great week, a great weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday. So long, everybody.
Thank you for watching Live and Local KWN TV.